the holidays are coming up, and there is this mom, Penny Middleton, who picked up a lot of steam on TikTok because she posted a video about a realization she had last Christmas when she was building a Barbie dream house for her now 4-year-old daughter. She was putting it together, and her husband was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "When your daughter wakes up, she's not going to want to sit there and watch you build this dream house. She's going to want to play with it." And she
Mhm.
had this realization that, like, women really are doing the most. And, like, we're the ones who kind of set that expectation. Like, that falls on us for the Christmas magic. And she was like, "It's fucked up that we write a thank you card to Santa and leave cookies and milk out for Santa." And she's like, "Uh-uh. This year, I'm offering a letter and cookies to Mrs. Claus because let's be real, she's more likely the one behind the scenes making sure everything gets done." And she does this whole faux conversation that what she imagines happened between Santa and Mrs. Claus of like, "Oh, where's my hat?" And she's like, "Santa, it's on your head." And he's like, "Oh, okay, well, thanks." And she'll be like, did you replace Rudolph's nose?" And it's like this whole thing, just how we're always like the ones thinking, we've talked about this, the mo mother mental load. So she's essentially just like playing out this conversation saying, let's be real. If anyone's keeping Christmas afloat, it's Mrs. Claus. So now she started a tradition with her daughter where they actually write a letter of appreciation to Mrs. Claus and they thank her for her behind the scenes work. And they fill up plastic bags with cookies and instructions for Santa to deliver the goods to Mrs. Claus when he gets home. So they don't give Santa shit. It's all about Mrs. Claus. And I love that because it's so true. I'm already feeling that weight
Of
of
Christmas.
Dylan now understands Christmas and I want to make it special for her. And I know Andrew could take some of it on, but it feels like it inherently falls on the women. I know you're already decorating for Christmas. Are you feeling this?
So Jason and I decor. So I was very excited this weekend to decorate for Christmas. And honestly, it was a really good team effort.
Good.
We fully did it together. In terms of like that tradition though, I think that's cute. And maybe the vibe is to leave cookies and a note out for Santa and Mrs. Claus. Like they're
Yeah,
a team
I love that too.
or something. Because I don't want to be like telling Santa what to do necessarily. Like Santa does a lot,
Yeah.
you know. He's he's gliding through the sky. He's
He's pulling an all-nighter.
yes.
Yeah.
And I think they both have different responsibilities. Like, would Santa be as great without Mrs. Claus? No.
Yeah.
But would Mrs. Claus be as great without Santa? Also, no.
Yeah.
And so I think I want to teach our kids like teamwork in that regard.
I love this. I
Maybe.
love how we're kind of speaking in like
Well,
like
it's
a
funny because do you guys, when you do gifts, do you write like to Andrew, love Hallie, or do you do like to Dada, love Mama? Because sometimes, like, I think last year I started doing, and this is what my parents always did growing up, like, they call each other Mr. and Mrs. Claus, like, to
oh,
Mr. Claus, love Mrs. Claus. And
I
I
love
always
that.
thought that was like so romantic and like so cute.
Yeah, that is cute. You're right. I think sometimes we have this instinct to go all the way the other way, like, and because we're trying to make up for lost time. Like, women have been put down for so long, and let's lift them up. And yes, let's lift them up, but I don't necessarily think we have to tear others down to build us up. So I think you're right.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Hey, let's start that tradition. We're gonna say, here's a baggie for Mrs. Claus when you get home.
I also do think about, the single parents during the
Mhm.
holidays.
Of
Like
course.
they are really doing the most, most, most. Like moms with partners have a hard job, but moms or even dads that are doing it alone, my mind is constantly blown. Like
Yeah.
how do you do it? So I think, you know, we all should just do what works best for us and write your letters, make your cookies, write on your gifts how you want to. I think as long as your kid feels special and loved, I think that's all we we all want as parents, right?
Amen, sister.